to another episode of Behind the Dreamers. I'm your host, Jennifer Loading, and we are talking to the achievers, the creators, the magic makers, and the dreamers. These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Well, I'm so excited about my guest today. It's been a while since I have recorded, so I'm excited to have somebody in here to talk to today. He is a first-generation immigrant who came to the States over 2 decades ago at the age of 16 by himself. He had $5 in his pocket, spoke no English, and had to quickly adapt to a new culture. He was adopted by a foster family in upstate New York, where he attended high school and then became a member of the local fire department, got his higher education from the University of Buffalo. He then moved to California to start his professional career, which allowed him the ability to travel across the country and become a successful businessman. And then in 21, he moved to Texas with his family and had the opportunity to join a new franchise. So we're going to talk to him in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I need to make a quick few announcements here. So first things first, our sponsor for today's show, Walt Mills Photography. If you are a creator needing post-production, consultation, or promotion, Walt is your guy. Whether short films, YouTube videos, photography, or a new headshot, he can help you find a solution to match your needs. To learn more about Walt and his work, you're going to want to go to photosbywalt.com. Also want to mention, if you are one of our fabulous listeners and you're ready to kickstart your leadership journey, you're in for a real treat. I've got something special just for you. Free tools to accelerate your path to becoming a more effective leader. Did you know that a study discovered that a whopping 63% of consumers prefer doing business with companies that share their personal values and beliefs? It's a game changer. Understanding your core values isn't just crucial for your business's growth, it's the cornerstone of effective leadership. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or an aspiring creator, identifying your core values is a fundamental step in building your framework of a successful leader. One of my favorite mentors, John Maxwell, wisely stated, everything rises and falls on leadership. So if you're eager to access these valuable resources and embark on your journey to becoming a better leader, I've got you covered. You're going to want to head on over to Linktree/Jennifer Loading. That is linktr.ee/Jennifer with 2 N's and then Loading, LOEH, D as in dog, ING. There you can unlock your free leadership resources and take that first step toward your leadership aspirations. All right, we got it all out. Now we get to welcome our guest on. We have to get all those announcements in before we can do this, the rest of the fun part of this show. So I'm so excited about this guest today. Rafi Majonian. He is a partnership with his wife, and they own a franchise, Ellie Mental Health, which is an outpatient mental health clinic providing counseling to individuals, families, and couples. He says that his and his wife's goals is to give back to their community and destigmatize mental health by creating a space where their community can be heard and healed. So, Rafi, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you here today.
Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for having me.
This is so fun. I feel like I had so many words I had to get out there that I was like, blah, they were just all kind of running together. Good stuff.
You did good.
Thank you. Well, I've done it a few times, so usually even if I mess up, we can kind of make it work. All right. So let's open this up. Tell us a little bit about Ellie, what this is. I want to start there. So tell us a little bit about what it is.
So, yeah, you mentioned it correctly. Ellie is a franchise outpatient mental health clinic that started out of Minnesota about 6 years ago. At the time, obviously we didn't know about Ellie. So we came to, after our move to Texas, my wife and I want to do something for ourselves, open up our own business. Given her background with social working for one of the biggest counties in the country, Los Angeles County, and dealing with a lot of different cases, family, child, we want to do something that it's meaningful for us. It's something that close to her heart, something that we feel good about doing and helping the community. We were looking into opening up something ourselves, but shortly after, Ellie came and knocked on the door. We looked at the opportunity and the services that they were providing, along with the handling the calls, dealing with insurance companies and things like that. So it just kind of makes sense for us to go down that path and join the team. So we opened our doors a few months back in August, and we had a beautiful grand opening, supported by MetroCrest Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of people came, including yourself, to support us. We appreciate that, and we have been accepting appointments. Slowly, we're getting there. We have 3 clinicians now. We have no wait list, and we're taking most major insurances at this point.
That's good. I really like the part, that you mentioned in your bio about the destigmatizing mental health, because I think that is
Correct.
I think for so long, that has been such I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I don't want to say like taboo, but it's been a hard subject to really address, right? Like people don't want to say, hey, I need help. It's been kind of a hard thing. And I think we're getting more now in a place where we recognize that a lot of people really do. And sometimes they're just afraid to ask, right? Or maybe they don't know they need it.
That's very correct, and exactly that's one of the things that we want to do is just normalize this, because as a man coming from a different culture, and it's just not normal for us to express our feelings, and be a human, I guess, sometimes. And I came to conclusion that at the end of the day, we're like anybody else. We have feelings. We go through stuff. And holding things inside and piling up, it's not healthy. It's just mentally exhausts you. Physically, it could have a big effect. So I personally changed myself, and I'm more, and I'm trying to reach out to my friends and colleagues, and as much as I can to tell them that it's okay. It's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to go sit down in a room and just let things out with someone that they don't know you, so they can't judge you. Because sometimes, even if you're talking to someone that they know you, they're quick to judge things based on just how long they know you. But if you're talking with someone that they don't have any past experience, they will listen to you. They will give you honest opinion. They will guide you to the right direction.
Yeah, that's so good. While you were thinking about or talking, a couple things were coming to mind because I'm thinking about like this bucket, right, filled with water and how it just keeps kind of filling and then eventually it tips, right? And when if you're holding all that stuff in and you never have a place to release some things and get some of the stuff off your chest, that's kind of what I vision happens. Like that bucket fills and then it just tips. And when it tips, it's not good. It's a mess, right?
Sometimes too late. Yeah. Sometimes when it
Yeah.
tips, it's a mess. To your point, and some people come back from it, some people don't. So why we wait until that fills over?
Yeah.
Let's address it before that happens.
I like it. And it's so funny too, because I think I was talking to somebody not too long ago. We were talking about, I was talking to a vice president of a funeral home, and she was a bereavement counselor, and we were talking about how sometimes people just thinking about like customers per se, they don't really want you to solve their problems, right? They just want you to listen. They want to be able to voice what's going on in their world at that moment. And I think that that's what's great about what you guys are doing is it gives people a place to, like you said, talk about things without being judged, right? Like it's somebody that doesn't really know them. They're impartial to the person and to the matter that's going on, and they can just listen. And then this person has a place to just get that off and release it. It's good.
That's very correct. And 90% of the time, when you let things out, you come up with the answers yourself. So, I mean, you just had it so much inside you that sometimes you just talk about things, and then next day you realize I just figured it out just by talking to someone and letting things out. So it's crazy how it happens.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I want to talk a little bit about you. We know what Ellie is, and I'm excited about that. We're going to probably come back to that in a few minutes because I'm going to want you to put a plug in for that. But I want to talk a little bit about you because you've had kind of this wild journey. Like you came here at a very young age, and you and I, we met outside of this video that we're doing right now. So we had a long talk about stuff. And so you came here as an immigrant by yourself. I want to know, like, fill us in just right there. What was that right there that made you decide you were leaving there and you were coming here to the States to embark upon this? Because you had no idea what was going to happen in the aftermath.
Yeah, I guess the answer would that be I had no other option. It was me staying in that country and possibly spend the rest of my life in jail and probably never see my parents the rest of my life, or give myself an opportunity. And even though the risk was great, even though the reality was I will not see my parents possibly forever, that was a choice that I had to make. it was an easy one because it was only one way out. I didn't have a lot of options. So that's what led me to, go through that and leave my family, the country, just able to survive.
Yeah. And tell our audience, because I know you, but they don't. So where did you come from? Because they're going to be like, what is it? He said all this. Where did he come from?
Yes. So, so I'm Armenian by ethnicity, but my parents, grandparents, they were born in Iran, and so technically, I'm half Iranian, half Armenian. So, long story short, after the revolution, things dramatically changed in that country, a country that used to be free and beautiful and a great place to visit, ended up being something completely different that became very hostile to minorities, Christians, Jews, you name it. So anybody was a fair target if they didn't like the way that you present yourself or just didn't like your name. You could have been subject to unfair persecutions and things like that. So unfortunately, I ended up in that bucket and in a young age. And I had to leave the country, leave my parents in the age of 16. I had to leave with my father because when you turn 18 in that country, you're no longer allowed to leave until you serve the army for 2 years. So it was for me to escaping the country, not leaving at that point. But it took me a long time to get to to Austria. I was on the road and walking the jungles and like the movies, the mountains, and spending nights under the trees, hiding for about a month until I got to real safety that I could seek asylum because majority of those countries, neighboring countries, they didn't have any asylum seeking. So, let's say the neighboring country, Iraq, or those are all the countries that you go from bad to worse kind of a thing. So I had to flee to Europe. I made it to Austria. That was the first place that I seek asylum as a Christian. That I felt that I was safe enough that I can start thinking about my next move and where I want to at least end up to give myself a best chance to succeed. So United States came along because just the fact that it's the greatest place in the planet until this day. I felt that as a minority, as a someone that came from Middle East, I have a best chance to move to United States to able to succeed. And so finally, after 2 years, I was able to. I was interviewed by the consulate, and they looked at my case, and they agreed that I can legally move to the country. But because of my age, I had to have sponsors to able to move to the States. Originally, I was supposed to go to California. I had a relative there, but unfortunately, the paperwork fell through, and I don't know what happened there. But I ended up in New York, a place that I only saw on TVs. I only saw New York City as a New York. So when I landed in New York, it was like, okay, where are the people that's supposed to pick me up? They never showed up, and I couldn't speak a word of English. I couldn't really communicate with anybody, so I was just going along with people that they just got to the country. They put me in another plane. At the time, I was thinking, well, I'm being sent back again for no good reason, but I didn't know I'm flying actually from New York City to Syracuse, New York, to meet my foster family. I met them over there. It was an awkward situation, obviously, for all of us. For them was just, I don't know, it's amazing people. I mean, it's just accepting someone from a different country in age of 16 to come and live in your house. It's just not something that everybody does. So we were able to communicate through a translator that they brought over there for a few hours. Went to the home, just became a part of the family. I mean, even though, again, the communication was a challenge, everything was a challenge for me. But I was able to adapt. I was able to pull myself up. There were times that I doubted my move. There were times that I was tired. There were times that I missed my parents. But I had to keep moving forward. Put the emotions to the side, and I grew up quickly. I think at the age of 17, I would probably was 30 in reality, because of the things I had to go through, and that made me a better person. Again, there were a lot of challenges in my life that I had to go through, but here we are. After 7 years, I moved to California. Once my real parents able to move the country, I was able to start working in a corporate world. Lucky being, I guess you can say, right place at the right time. I had some incidences in my life that if I would have gone the other way around, I probably would never been made it here. So luck's been behind me. The support from the family, friends, but again, here we are with my wife and family, and we're opening up we opened our new business. We're optimistic, and looking forward to make changes in life.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing all that. Cause I know we talked about it, but I know when you said that first part, I'm like, they're going to be like, what is the backstory behind this? What is he talking about? Where did he come from? So thank you for sharing
Yes.
that, because wow, what a story. And you and I talked, off camera about, like, you should write a book about this and talk about it. Cause while you're talking about when you were in the beginning talking about like the traveling, the walking, I was getting chills thinking about this. Cause I'm thinking, here's this kid, this 16-year-old boy. Like, I have a 19-year-old. That's my youngest. And I'm thinking I would be having like a heart attack as a parent thinking about the struggles that you, as a child, you're having to go through to try to free yourself, right? And having no, as a parent, I think, from your parents' perspective, having no ability to have any part in this, right? Like, you're on your own and you're trying to do this. And wow, what a story. Like, I just, the resilience and the tenacity and persistence and all the words I want to throw in there. Like, I was getting chills listening to this story. So thank you for sharing all that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's good. It's good. And so you're doing great. So kids, how many kids do we have now?
So we have two kids. Amelia, my younger one, she's going to turn 3, and Gregory, our older one, will turn 6 end of this month.
Okay, so what a great story. I mean, look at this, and now you guys are giving back to the community. You're doing something to help other people, youth, other people that are going through
Yes.
their own struggles, and I think one of the really neat things is when and I don't know your wife's story, but one of the really neat things I think about the position that we have as leaders and mentors and all of those things is that when we, all of us have a different story, right? We all have some kind of a journey that we go through. Some of us have
Absolutely.
really tough, really hard ones like yours. I think the beauty of that is when you've walked those paths, it gives you an ability to have empathy for others. It allows you to see that others, when they go through their struggles, and be able to not only see that and have that empathy, but to offer hope to those people that, hey, if I did this, you got this, right? Like, you got this.
And that's a very good point, Jennifer. I think from where I started, I think it would have been at the bottom of the bottom, in terms of financially, just culture, everything. So I did start from that, and I do understand when people go through struggles and ups and downs of life, and challenges that comes across, and sometimes you doubt your decisions and things like that. So I have gone through all that. So I try to help as much as I can. Obviously, my wife's story is slightly different. She came also to this country in older age and through a different system. But her job also highlighted how important it is to address some of these issues in a younger age before things get out of hand. She dealt with a lot of kids, unfortunate kids, that they were displaced or terrible things happened to them with strangers or even with their parents. Stories that I heard, it was just crazy. So one of the decision makers, I guess the reasons that we wanted to do this also was, how can we address these, or help individuals, kids, families from getting destroyed to begin with. And this is the probably one of the important places that starts. If you can resolve your issues by communicating, by try to have a professional to have opinions on it, and seek help, period, I think it will prevent families falling apart, kids getting destroyed. So we see this as an opportunity to prevent some of these things. Obviously, we're not going to be able to save the world. We're not going to be able to save the planet, but it gives us a purpose to able to save as much as we can, keep the families together, keep the parents together, or even if the kids are going through hard times, make sure that we address it before things get out of hand and they don't have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think you're so right about that because you can't really, it's hard to change adults, right? Like it's what adults are kind of set in the way they are. And for them to change, they have to really want to change themselves, right? But I think kids are at a place where they're still very impressionable. And if you can get into their space, and I keep going back to, I think about your journey, like had you not had somebody come into your life and say, hey, we're going to take this kid in despite the language barriers, the culture barriers, all of this, your life could have looked very different today, right? It could have been a very different story. And so you're a testament to that, the ability of an adult coming in and making a difference in another child's life. And so I think it's incredible. If you have the ability to do that, you're in a perfect place because they're at a place where they're learning, they're soaking it all in and they're taking it in.
Yes.
It's good. Good stuff. I love it. All right. Well, I want to ask you another question. This is good. I know we could talk forever. And I do think you need to write that book and tell your story. And maybe your wife needs to write one too. I don't know. Maybe y'all need to have like a joint book of why y'all decided to get into this, Ellie. But I think your story is great. And I just think it's a very remarkable story. So I want to know, this is going to be a you question about you. What have you learned about yourself in this journey?
Well, it's a good question. I think I learned that you never give up. I think it's one of those things that sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, it could be tough. It could be a lot of things can come at you at once. It seems like almost the world just try to break you down, but you never give up, and you address one problem at a time. Great example. We were going through tough financial times, and at the same time, my dad was sick, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he barely made it to my wedding, and he died 2 months after. So, those are the things they learn. You try to never give up, regardless of what happens, and I think that's what I'm proud of. One thing that I'm really proud of myself is that I have never given up. I will never give up, and I'll try to help as many people as I can to make sure they don't give up either.
It's good. And your kids are gonna probably be the same way. You guys will all be like never give up kind of people. I love it.
Correct.
I always joke about that because I always say I'm kind of like that too. Like I have like this just crazy tenacity about things, and like I hate to give up. And sometimes I will say this: 90% of the time, that's good, right? Like it's beneficial not to give up, but there will be that like small percent of a time when I need to like let something go, and I don't want to let it go because I don't like to give up. I like to.
Right.
My mother and I were talking about this yesterday because you'll probably get a kick out of this. When I was a kid, when I would get in trouble and I couldn't say I was sorry, my mom, she didn't do this often, but sometimes would make me go stand in the corner. And she told me, we were talking about this on the phone yesterday. She said, I would start to feel so bad for you that I just send you to your room. Well, I never had to say I was sorry. I got out of it every time. I could stand in that corner for a really long time. And I was like, I am not saying I'm sorry. You're going to leave me here and I will just. So she just sent me in my room and I got out of it. So sometimes I say most of the time that tenacity is incredible and it's good. And there's a good purpose, but every now and then it's like, you got to know when it is to like, just quit,
True.
That's the fun side of it. So, but I think what you're doing is remarkable. And I think like I said, your story is awesome. Thank you for sharing it with us. It's great. One last thing I want to ask you before we wrap this up. Any advice? You've said basically not giving up. That's what you learned. But any other last minute advice, or maybe somebody that wants to start, they could be in any position. I mean, you've got so much to the story, the depth of the story, I can take it from you're coming over here or starting this franchise, but maybe some advice you would offer somebody starting out, or maybe finding themselves in a position where they're like going to take that step to do something that's kind of big.
Yeah. I mean, my advice, obviously, not going to lie, we're learning as we're going, as we speak. But from my past experience is that make sure that whatever you're doing in life, it could be a work, it could be something that, whatever it is, you have full commitment. That means you're 100% focused. Uh, and if you are peace, in other words, to you really want to do it, put your head behind it. Avoid distractions, because you are going to have people on the side try to discourage you. Again, challenges will happen, but just put your focus on whatever you want to do and just go for it. And make sure, I probably made that mistake long, but enjoy the life, enjoy the ride on your way doing that, because sometimes we can get carried out and just focus too much on things and forget about what's on the side, right? You always try to look forward when you're driving, but once in a while, you might want to turn your head around and enjoy the scenery as well, because you just never know. Things happen in life. Health-wise, accidents could happen. If you have a family, just enjoy the time with them. Make it a fun journey, whatever you're going to do, and that makes it much easier to get where you want to be, for sure.
I love that, Rafi. That was good. I love it. I've had a lot of people come from that perspective. And I think when you can get to a place where you can do that, where you start learning to relish like in the moment, and not be so focused on the end destination, right? Like that's what I like to say, that end destination. You miss all the stuff around you if you're just focusing on the 10 minutes of glory at the end, right? It's like you spend all this time getting to that and you lose it. So I think that's good. I feel like this has been a universal conversation I've had with people lately. So it's good. All right. So I want to do some fun questions for you. And these are just, I used to call them rapid fire because they were supposed to be rapid. I don't know that they ever are, but they're just fun. And so I want to ask them. Okay. So if you had to sum yourself up in one word, what would it be? Just one word.
Loyal. I'm a very loyal person.
I like it.
Whether professionally or family or friends. But if you ask my friends or anybody that one thing, probably they will say the same thing. I'm loyal, and I tend to work hard. I don't like easy way. It's advantage, sometimes disadvantage, but I like to work. I like to work hard.
I could see
and
that.
Earn everything that I have, and it just gives you that feeling, right? You didn't get it easy.
I get it. All right. What is your favorite guilty pleasure food? The one thing that you like that's just not good for you.
That's a very good question, because I've been on a strict diet, and not for health reasons, just want to start a healthy life. But
that's why I asked you this question.
Burger. Yeah, burger and fries. That's, I can eat that all day. And
any particular joint? Like, do you have a specific place you like?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. Okay, I was going to ask you, because that's here it's the Whataburger and the In-N-Out. Like I'm a Whataburger girl.
That's
so
right.
You hear that a lot. They'll be like, which one? So I'm sure.
It's good, but that would be by far the most
junky. Yeah, I asked you that because
I
knew that you probably ate clean. I do too. That's why I like that question, because I don't eat a lot of junk either. So that's why I like asking. Okay, this is going to be a fun one for you. First concert that you've been to?
Bon Jovi.
Really? Interesting. Very cool.
Buffalo, New York.
I had to ask that. All right. Last question I'm going to ask you. Favorite book? Do you have a specific book or a mentor that just really comes to mind?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't have one. I mean, not a big reader, to be honest.
Okay. It's okay.
But I read books, but I can't. It doesn't come to my mind right now. But
hey, don't worry about it. I used to not be a big reader either. That was like a new thing I started in 2018, and so now I have like a whole list of books. But I asked that question because it's like
I'll get there.
Yeah, it's like I listen to people and I'm like, what book are you reading? So I know what I need to note down.
Yeah. Once both of my kids turn 7 or 8, maybe I can spend some additional time, start reading books. Right now, it's by the time you cook the dinner and get things ready and this and that. There's no time for anything. But
Understood. Understood.
Yep.
It's hard. It's a challenge when you got the little people. They grow up fast, but I get it. When they're little, there's a lot of running around and taking care of kids. I totally get where you're coming from. So,
Yep.
all right, Rafi. So if anybody wants to plug in, they may want to check this Ellie out, see what this is all about. They want to get connected with you. Where do we want to send them?
We have a website. We can go to Ellie Mental Health Carrollton. That will be the website that you can search under. My wife is the clinical director. We have 3 other therapists. They're all specialized in different areas. I'm not a therapist myself, but she is, and we have a great therapist that they're pretty much doing this for a long time, and they're eager to hear from the people that they need assistance. We have no wait list, like I said, and we take most major insurances, and we're adding more. So, Ellie Mental Health Carrollton.
Very good. Very good. And you're the behind the scenes. You do the other parts of the business
I
that are
do the
important.
outreach, I do the marketing, I do the community events and things like that. Just the fact that she's tied up there and she's doing her thing, and I try to help out as much as I can.
Yeah, I think it's great that you guys are a partnership and you work together on that. Because I always say, you guys have, most couples have like different strengths and weaknesses, and so if you can work together and kind of balance those out, it's really
Exactly.
good. You can pick up the pieces
Exactly.
that she doesn't care about, right?
That's right. No, it's a great team, and we're having fun doing it for sure.
Very good. Very good. Well, Rafi, I want to tell you thank you so much for sharing your story and for being authentic with our audience. I know it's not always easy to share these stories, but I appreciate you doing that. And I do think you need to write that book, get that thing done. And
Yes, I know.
thank you for all of your contribution and what you're doing to help make the world a better place. So we appreciate
And
it.
Jennifer, thank you for letting me be on your show and share my history and where we are right now. And I appreciate this. Thank you. This is very nice.
Awesome. You're welcome. And to our audience, of course, we do want to say, if you enjoy our show, go head on over to Apple, give us a review over there, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. And as I always say, in order to live the extraordinary, you must start. And every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, be kind to one another. We will see you next time.